7 years in particular, and mostly lived in the valley, so kind of like not the Silicon Valley, but the Val San Bernardo Valley here, where over the mountains. So I'm not
Yeah?
even
You
technically
live by the mountains, huh?
in LA. LA. Yeah, I do live by the mountain, and now I moved to like a different city, which is like still close. And like I'm almost in the mountains. And I'm never really had a goal or whatever to live in any kind of elevation. I'm not from a place where you have anything. It's, basically, I come from a place that is very flat.
Gotcha.
Let's put it this way. And it's
Right
mostly
on.
agricultural land and whatever sunflowers and potatoes and all that stuff. But now for some reason I live in a place where you have like these hills all the time. I'm struggling to ride a bike. I really like bike riding, but I can't. It's just like it's too much,
Struggling
man.
to ride a bike. Yeah. No,
I
I get
did
that
it a
because of the
couple of
oxygen.
times.
I've been doing the oxygen thing as well. Like, because I don't have high
All
elevation
right.
here. So I got like an oxygen mask trainer where it restricts the airflow as if you're elevated.
Oh wow.
Oh, it's cool.
Seriously.
It's
Oh
cool.
wow. Really?
Yeah, so that's how I simulate
Yeah.
what you're doing for real.
Man, I mean, I did these rides for a couple of times, and I thought I'm gonna pass out. But it's just like it's too much. Some of those hills. But a friend of mine, he lives like 15 minutes away from me here, and he says, "Well, let's go kind of like bike riding together." And I'm saying like, "Man, I can't do like hills or whatever." He says, "No, it's gonna be fine. Like I have like a whatever, just like around the neighborhood. It doesn't have to be whatever, trails and stuff."
Gotcha.
And I'm like, "Well, come to my neighborhood. Like, why do I have to go to yours?" No, you don't get it. Like, I can't transport my bike. Like I can't transport it. Like I need to whatever wield something under my car to get like a special stand for the bikes, and otherwise
Mm-hmm.
it's gonna be like $1,000. So it just says
That's
like
expensive.
you come you come whatever hang out with me, and I have this amazing bike which is I don't know if you guys know this, but it's a foldable
You have a
bicycle.
foldable bike?
Uh,
Mm.
I have a foldable bike, yeah, and it's like the to make it even weirder, it folds 3 times, so it's like it's not like your traditional where it folds, in half, and you put it like in a car. But mine is tiny; it folds 3 times, and it's basically smaller than a suitcase. Um, it's absolutely amazing. It's like one of the
I've never even
coolest
heard of that.
gadgets.
I
Yeah,
believe
it's
you.
like the coolest gadgets I have. It's very cool,
Yeah.
and
All right, man.
I can basically like put it in the
Talk
back and
about it all day.
start.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So what's up,
Are
everybody?
we on?
Yeah, we're on.
Yeah,
What's
hello.
up, everybody? My name's Lanzer, and today I'm joined by another special guest. In the same way yesterday we had Pepe from SandRush, today we have another guest who is another author of one of the draft SIPs. There's only two out there right now. Pepe's Magic Palette, and now we're going to talk to the author of Creators First. So,
Hey.
scope of the talk today. We're going to be talking about our own SIP submissions and how we filled out the SIP template just like we did yesterday. Only this time we're going to talk about it from the perspective of Cyril. So this is our interaction with the process. So if you'd like, please go ahead and this is the SANDDAO Podcast, by the way. This is a podcast all about the Sandbox DAO. It's exploring it since its announcement and really flesh out what exactly we think about it, bringing on as many guests as I can, and also exploring as many topics as I can. And looking forward to this one. Really glad, Cyril, that you were able to make time for this. Thank you. And if you could please introduce yourself and also pronounce your name so that everyone can understand.
Yeah, my name is Kirill. I joined the Sandbox community not that long ago. My background is actually in media and games media in particular. I've been working for as long as I can remember, which is like almost 20 years now, in video game industry. Um, and mostly was working in the kind of PR marketing capacity, helping share stories about video games and how they work and promote them and so on. And for the last 10 years, I've been working at a large media company, which I helped found and grow to like substantial numbers. And
Nice. That's cool.
for the SIP, I'm kind of
So a
like
bit of a
I
business
suggested.
entrepreneur.
I am. I mean, definitely very business oriented. I'm from humble beginnings, not really whatever born with a silver spoon or anything like that.
Yeah.
So
Would
kind
you
of
mind
have to
saying
do
telling everyone where you're
everything.
from?
I'm from Ukraine myself. The whole family's from Ukraine. There's still a lot of people
Thoughts
there.
and prayers with the people in Ukraine. Ukraine.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah. So you've been in with the sandbox, or you've been involved in the sandbox for how many years would you say?
Let's say a couple of years.
A couple years, okay.
It all first started when we kind of when I learned about the sandbox and I saw all those wonderful ads that they were showing. And my biggest draw to it was not actually the land, not kind of like the blockchain angle or the ICO. It was mostly the visuals of the game itself,
Gotcha.
because I really love voxels, and it's been like a tremendous discovery that there are these games that are being made with voxels, and still because it used to be a very popular technology, like in the
Yeah.
end of '90s, beginning of the 2000s, and then it's kind of slowed down, and the polygons kind of took over. But now, just seeing the way that it works right now, it's just
Okay.
amazing.
Great. Well, thank you. And you pronounce your name Kirill.
Yeah, that's me.
Kirill, not to be confused with Cyril, who is also in the Sandbox community. He's involved with the Sandbox DAO as well. Cyril and Seb helped founded the Sandbox DAO. Kirill here is one of the SIP creators first authors. So there's
Yeah,
a difference and
yeah.
distinction there.
I talked. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I did talk with Cyril as well. And just like a fun fact, my English teacher back in the day, she actually called me Cyril because she thought that was like this was a more correct way of kind of like interpreting my name or
Gotcha.
adapting my name to the English speaking countries.
Yeah.
But the guys at the passport that they gave me the passport, they decided they decided
Yeah.
their own way. So I'm Kirill.
I'm gonna go one step further and I'm gonna put the pronunciation underneath your name. So that way everyone knows Kier. Oh, that's not right. That's not what I wanted. Duplicate it. I'm still learning how to do this exactly, but we're Streamlabs is a wonderful tool. All right, Kier. Oh, there we go. Thank you, Kirill. Appreciate you being on. So we are going to get through this. I'm Lanzer. I'm the host of SANDDAO Podcast, and I've been a community member of the SandFam since midway through season one. I'm avatar owner, landowner, and published Floor Droppers. And we have Portal Run and Lava Defense upcoming in the next couple months. And I'm president of MetaWorlds. I'm also authors of two SIPs, which are still going through the back and forth with the Sandbox project management team before they end up in the place where Kirill's is right now, which is the SIP draft. So, what's that? Let's get into it. Disclaimer: Kirill and I do not represent the Sandbox game or the Sandbox Foundation. Again, Kirill is not Cyril or Cyril. Cyril is part of the Sandbox Foundation. Kirill is not. He is a SIP author. So we speak for ourselves as SandFam community members, and we are not your financial or legal advisors. Don't take anything we say as financial or legal advice, please. You need a CPA, you need an investor, you're someone who is qualified and professional career in that, not
Uh,
not us. All right, interesting
Don't take
facts.
financial advice
When we
from me.
say SIP, what was that, Kirill?
Definitely don't take financial advice from me. Sure.
SIP, when we say SIP, it's a Sandbox Improvement Proposal. DAO, Decentralized Autonomous Organization. Each SIP requires a quorum to be eligible to pass. That is 1% of the sandbox supply, which is currently 30 million. Each SIP, after it reaches quorum, has to have a simple majority, which is more than 50%. If you own land, you have 4,500 voting power per land. If you have one sand, you have one voting power per sand. There have been 5 SIPs submitted so far. 5 have passed. 2 are in draft. One we talked about yesterday, Magic Palette with Pepe from SandRush, and the second one is Creators First with Kirill. And then I have 2 drafts submitted that I emailed in the past week and waiting review. Okay. The overall process, SIP review per the forums. Step 1, you initiate your submission. So you send it to the email. Step 2, project management team reviews from the sandbox. 3, moderator review. 4, community review. That's the 14-day public comment that Kirill's is going through right now. Then special counsel review. So it goes through a legal, redundancy, ethical check by Seb and the rest of the council. Then it gets voted on by the community, just like the past 5 SIPs did. And then it gets implemented, if it passes. Okay, and this is a visual of what we just described. So we can go ahead and move through this. And here we are starting afresh today. So the SIP template is a pretty daunting thing. It's got a lot of content in it that you need to address. And it's all about, it's mainly broken into 2 sections, the TLDR and the SIP details. But it first starts with the title. You put in a snazzy little title. Then the council will recommend it, which we learned that they remove from the final thing. So you don't mess with that in the template. Then you choose your category, fill out all the TLDR details. That's the who, what, when, where, why. SIP details, that's the specifics of your plan. Voting options, any appendices you may have, and then resubmission about how you're gonna work really hard to submit things if it doesn't work out. Okay, so let's start first with the very, very beginning part, Kirill. On the SIP template, we have a little thing here, a 10K character limit. Did that influence yours much at all?
I wouldn't say so. Not really.
Okay.
Was I'll tell you a story. So when I first got this draft, I mean they share this kind of document, um, which is like an answering basically a list of questions and all the information you had to supply.
Mm-hmm.
I was a little bit daunted. I was like, no, this is like huge, humongous. Like, how am I gonna do it? What I'm gonna do? So I had to kind of like find some time to do it, and also create an environment where I would not be distracted from
Gotcha.
the whole thing. And I went to our local library, took a laptop with me, and just kind of sat there for like a day. And I was just kind of like filling out, finding the right words and putting it on paper, to make sure that all the ideas and everything I have kind of like it eventually gets gets the views and it's represented in this document. That's
Okay.
how it actually started.
Okay, gotcha. And then, so it didn't really influence you too much. It didn't influence mine either. I think mine's well below 10,000. Okay, next up is the title. So we have the title, the council recommendation, which we know gets removed before it goes to the draft SIP, because the council hasn't yet recommended anything. And then category. So your title, you have creator first, creator focused media platform ensuring SAN dominance in professional communities. How did you come up with that title?
I was thinking how to cram as much information as possible into a super short outline, right? And then I don't really think it's a very good one. It is what it is. that was kind of like the idea. Like I wanted to make something that's catchy, that's at least interesting. People would click on it, understand. I think I really missed the mark was the word platform. Because I think when people think of platform, they always start thinking about uh, Facebook or something like that.
Yeah.
And my vision is not as audacious or ambitious. It's a little bit smaller, but maybe like further down the line. But
Yeah.
it is what it is. And then there's that. I think our main goal was, do we want to do something for creators? We want to do something that creates value for the community in general, but also for a wider audience. I think because we're all here talking about Sandbox and Sand, we're kind of like fixated into in this particular community. What I'm thinking is Creator First is the community of all creators out there. Anyone who's working on any other living, breathing, user-generated, powered platform.
Gotcha. Okay. And so when you say platform, you're not really meaning like a Facebook competitor. More of a
No,
like a
it's
space,
more
a
like a
venue.
media company
Okay,
that
gotcha. So expand
always
your
publishes
current
stories.
successful media company.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, makes sense. Okay. And then which category? Oh, so for mine, I just put window sizing and resolution options for game client, game maker, Vox edit, and launcher. And then the second one was create a roadmap for Sandbox release. So pretty easy there. Yours is much more specific. Okay. And then category. You chose what category?
I think it's platform or something, right?
You chose platform. Got it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and yesterday Pepe said that he didn't he chose platform uh platform I think as well, but he was confused about the explanation. Did you find the explanation confusing when you did this?
I think it's very hard for these projects to fit within a particular description.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I
It's
agree
like
with you on that.
there are every single project has something different, and you want to differentiate. You want to be different. I'm only putting this as a platform just because it more or less fits. But I did not think that this is like 100% accurate description of what I was building. It was close enough, so that's why I
Gotcha.
chose it. So I didn't really go into, my philosophy is like you make a choice and you move forward. You don't really think for hours
Gotcha.
about what
Just
could have
send
been
it.
different and so on. Yeah, just like not send it, but like make a choice and just go with it. Like because don't be analysis paralysis forever.
Yeah. Yeah. I chose for my window resizing, I chose game content, and for my creative roadmap, I chose platform as well.
Huh.
All right. And the next one is so once you get through that beginning portion, then you start getting into the first biggest portion, the TLDR, the what, why, how, when, where, and who. And so for your what, it says a media and talent platform that informs, educates, builds a community of like-minded creators, you know, united by common aim to improve creator economy through decentralized incentives. That is a mouthful. What does that boil down to? You said it wasn't a platform. It
Yeah,
was a space,
basically,
an expansion of your current successful company.
yeah, yeah. It's kind of like it's not even connected with the company that I'm in or the company that I was rather. But it's a separate space that tells stories about user-generated economy. There are a couple of angles to it. Like we do cover the creative angle and how to build something, but we also cover all the angles on how do you monetize something. This is heavily curated. This is not a forum. This is not an open platform. This is, if you think of it, it's sort of like Apple Arcade compared to the Apple Store. There's an Apple Store, or let's say Steam as an analogy, you can just post anything you want, any game you want. You pay $100 and you can publish. With Apple Arcade, you have to have a relationship, you have to understand how everything works, you have to be chosen, and so on. We are building a media platform where we choose what stories to tell. We want to highlight only the best, and we want to create kind of like a certain level of trust around this user generated economy that is currently blowing up.
Got it. Okay. I'm looking at Apple Arcade now. I see. It's a curated experience where they can see here, like Fruit Ninja, Super Fruit Ninja
Yeah.
is featured.
And I yeah, I use the Apple Arcade analogy more to highlight the curation aspect.
Yeah,
And I
I
think
see it.
if you want to think of creator first in terms of analogies, I think a good analogy would be something like New York Times. But New York Times is basically telling stories from what happened around the world. We want to tell stories what happened around the world of user generated economy. I think that would be a good analogy.
I would go to NewYorkTimes.com, but apparently you have to subscribe to even get through the front door. So, oh wait, there you go. Click here. Okay, yeah. So, got it. Thank you. Okay, and then my what for Windows resizing was we request that Sandbox and development team prioritize updating the graphics settings to allow for Windows resizing and resolution options for the Game Maker, Vox Edit, Sandbox Launcher, and Sandbox Game Client. Sandbox, yeah, so it, just like normal everyday thing where you can Windows resize, and in the resolution here, you can choose your resolutions, but you can't really do that for in Game Client for anything above 1920 by 1080, and you can't do it at all for Vox Edit or Game Maker or the launcher. And then for my second sip, for creating a roadmap, my what is to create an easily accessible development roadmap for SandFam that shows a schedule of Game Client, Vox Edit, Sandbox Launcher, Game Maker, and the website. And then I have different ways of how to do that, but there's an example of what that roadmap can look like, something that's easy to reference and that helps studios like mine to arrange my experiences in a way that takes advantage of the functionalities that are being released versus guessing guessing on all the experiences and when they're going to be useful. Okay, and then the why. The why is all about why should the Sandbox DAO do this? And you said to master the minds of the creative community, you need something more impactful than financial incentive. Creator First builds one of the most important elements currently absent in the market, trust, and a new way of pursuing creative endeavors supported by clear and transparent token and reliable financial technology. So then you have your principles after that. So what were you aiming for here in the why?
Um, from my perspective, why is basically you're describing the market and where the pain point is. Why does what kind? How do you alleviate this pain? I see the current market, especially in user-generated economy, it's something that is heavily skewed towards the benefit of platforms. Roblox, Facebook, YouTube, Steam, whatever else is out there. Uh, Creators are there. They just kind of like they go through the meat grinder without any opportunity to really influence. And this is why I think DAO is so different and why it is so important to have these conversations. Because I don't know if you follow that much the competitors. You probably shouldn't, but maybe you should. There was a huge scandal around Roblox where they changed their payouts. They were doing the payouts one way, and then suddenly they introduced some socialism, and everybody was being paid out the same amount, which was huge for people who were really involved in this economy, like making a living there. And I think this is something that we want to change, and this is the priority, and this is the first principle. We want to make sure that there is a space that is heavily skewed towards the creators. We want to support the creators. We want to fight for whatever is beneficial for them. We want to give them the opportunity and the knowledge to know how to sell their stuff, distribute their stuff, where to go, what to do, how to do it, and so on. And believe me, I know maybe thousands of creators from all over, from big studios and small, from indies to established companies. They're all struggling with this. There is
I
not a
know we
space
are.
out
We're
there
struggling too.
where there's not a space out there where you can go and say, hey, you guys are on my side. You guys are on my side. It's not Facebook, it's not Meta, it's not, Apple or anything like that. It's like I am number one. I'll ask you the question like who created the characters for Frozen franchise?
Don't know.
Or Lilo and Stitch or something like that. And still Disney's like a trillion, billion, gajillion dollar company that's making like millions of dollars just from the parks alone. Not forget everything else, right? I just think that this is like incredibly unfair. This is like super unfair, and this is something that this SIP is here to try to challenge the way that things are right now.
Got
And
it.
this kind of brings me to the second principle, which is security and inclusivity. I'm trying to build a media platform, and we want to be the filter that defines security. Because sometimes there will be no shady stuff, there will be no cash grab or anything like that. We want to build a space where you can go, maybe tell about your story, maybe hear about the story of other creators out there, how they are building their businesses, how they're building their whatever the creative endeavor there is. Maybe it's a film, maybe it's an animation, maybe it's a game, maybe it's some kind of experience or whatever. We want to be something that's safe, secure, and heavily curated. And last but not least is we want to help great creators. Our idea is that if you have enough stories of how people are doing in this business, sharing not only the good stuff, but also sharing their challenges, sharing, the fights they have to fight every day, you will eventually find a way to unite people or for small teams to come up together and working together with the sandbox community and trying to build something out of there.
Gotcha.
And this is like the why.
So you
This is
want to
how I thought
amplify the
about it.
message, or you want to amplify the presence of the experience makers, the game makers.
Yeah, and
Got it.
I encourage you to think bigger outside of just the idea of simply sandbox. I think about it as any game creators out there, because there are thousands of games right now. There are thousands of games being published. I worked with game publishers. They get 100 submissions per month. Some of them getting 100 submissions of video game projects per day. And in this environment, with this kind of like output, um, of course they don't want to give you a best deal. They don't want to give you the best deal. They want to give you like whatever deal. They want to get the most for themselves while you're gonna do all the work. And our goal is to change that. We want to bring an opportunity for developers to um, get their money back in a way, to get some power to what they're doing. And
Got it. Okay.
we are
No, that
here to
makes
kind of
sense.
educate about that.
That makes sense. Okay, the next section was how, and we have about 30 minutes left if we want to make it within the hour. How, team and budget. So you said the first phase of the project entails building the platform within 3 months, and then 3 months of operating it after that. And to execute this
Yeah.
phase, you need 385,000 sand. Did I capture that right?
hmm Yeah, I think that's what's on the forums.
So you build it, and then what does operating it for 3 months mean? Oh, that's operating expenses for 3 months. I see. Okay,
Yeah, yeah,
got it.
yeah. It's a media platform. It has, in order for it to run, you need to kickstart it, right? So you need to have the team there for them to publish stories, to store stories, to do the interviews, to publish news. And all of that's kind of like operational stuff.
Got it.
Uh,
Yeah,
but that's
no,
kind of
makes
like
sense.
where the money is required.
Okay. And then the win, you expect if it were funded, and we about hit the 14-day comment. So let's just say next week. No, the week after, because it would be 14 days after that.
Yeah,
Development would be planned to last 3 months, and then product platform launch expected beginning of Q4. So um, October. So you'd launch it by October. Okay.
yeah, yeah,
And then the who.
approximately. I mean, yeah.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I just wanted to say, like, as any project manager, it's always a little bit of a stretch
Yeah, it's always
to give these
difficult to
kind of like
anticipate
that.
those delays and all those
It's
different
always
things that can
difficult
hit.
to, yeah,
Yeah.
but the plan is that, yeah, that is true.
Yeah, yeah, it makes sense. And here's the part that threw me, by the way, where I thought your name was Cyril. Cyril, I
Yeah,
mean. Um, Here I would pronounce this Cirillo, but I
like
forgot
Kirill, this
the
is the
K is a K, and it's
Ukrainian,
Kirillo.
yeah,
So
Ukrainian.
that's how I would pronounce that, and that's where I kind of got you mixed up with Cyril from Sandbox DAO. That's
Yeah, he was a great guy. I had a couple of calls with him. He has a he has a very nice audio system at home.
oh,
That's
does he? Nice, that's cool.
yeah, he has like a nice hi-fi stuff. So
What
I'm a
music does
big
he
fan
listen
of
to?
hi-fi. I don't really know about the music, but he does have very nice speakers over in the background. So
That's cool.
that's what I like. It caught my eye a little bit. Yeah, I really enjoyed that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
So,
mean, the Who basically I gave to kind of like speeds in things up because my family is back home, so I won't have much time. But I just kind of gave my background, highlighted the stuff that I've been working on, my experience. I do come from corporate. I worked in large companies with very large volume. My team in my previous job was about 30 people in total. Um, I kind of like gave my background so on, and I'm only putting my background there to, I guess, give a little bit more confidence to the
yeah, that's
the
that's
the
all right.
holders and
I did the
the
exact same thing. I put my background and
yeah.
and
So
all of
people just
that.
kind of like that where you're not just coming from God
Right,
knows
we're real people with a
you
real
have
offering.
yeah real people.
Yeah.
That's true.
So you went to Harvard and Stanford.
Well, they were executive programs. I wouldn't be able to manage paying both of those schools off. Never,
Gotcha.
I think. But I had a wonderful experience in Stanford. Stanford, I did a small program that was during the COVID times,
Mhm.
and the program was called Emergency CMO. And it's just like this wonderful place where you meet a bunch of like-minded people and you listen to some interesting conversations from, people at Stanford, like how they look at marketing, what's the next thing, and so on.
Gotcha.
And I did a more extensive program at Harvard Business School, which is like an experience of its own. And just chatted. I did like three programs there, by the way. It was amazing. Like maybe if we can get together some other time, we could share some of those war stories. It was pretty eye opening. I really liked it.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's good. That'd be good. So then ever since then you've been doing game development media. Cool.
Yeah.
All right. Next up, after you clear the TLDR, you now have the SIP details. This is starting to get into an advanced explanation of your plan. And for you, you kind of go over the who and the what again, where you explain how this is all about fighting for eyeballs and amplifying,
Yeah,
pushing out all the good things that Sandbox experience and game makers and artists are doing. So you want to amplify their presence so that more people see what Sandbox is doing.
exactly. I just think this is a problem with a lot of these community-driven projects where community is very defensive of what they have, but at the same time, you don't really get a lot of exposure outside of of the community. And my goal is just
Gotcha.
to bring the exposure to highlight the cool
Yeah.
stuff. And
And you would do this
there
through
in
website, right,
this
Kirill?
right in
Okay.
this section, I kind of just go over the details, do the risk analysis, the implementation plan. It's a shorter version, just so you know. I think our original one was much more developed. There was like a little bit more,
Mm-hmm.
but it's kind of like the to give a general understanding of
Yeah.
how we're
No,
gonna
makes
get
sense.
to where we're going.
Okay. And then after that, there's a description, which is a detailed implement explanation of what the SIP aims to achieve. And for you, you want to create a web-based community platform for professional creators that helps inform, educate, and help them monetize. So there's also a monetization aspect of this.
Yeah, I think the monetization aspect I kind of touched a little bit. Um, eh, the first part is I want to explain to them how they can monetize. Like if you look at the whatever other surveys being done in this field, especially around games, because it's kind of like my field, majority of developers they just want to go on Steam or use Apple or something like that and just sell their games that way. This is the way if you want to quote Mandalorian a little bit. But for people who are so kind of like in the weeds that they don't really see the forest, I want to explain to them that there are other options. You can do A, you can do B, you can do C, you can engage with Sandbox, you can
And what,
self-publish a book on
Kirill,
Amazon, and so on.
what's an example of something they can do?
That's what I'm trying to say. Let's say you're building an experience, right? Or you're building a game. And the question that you will get is, how am I going to sell it? And majority of developers don't really even know how. What they want to do is they want to go somewhere, somebody take care of it. Because surprisingly enough, developers don't really care about the business part that much. And what ends up happening is that they're going to a publisher, and a publisher takes 30% cut, sometimes much bigger cut of all the potential profits, and they're stuck with this deal forever. And then this is like a vicious cycle that keeps repeating and so on. What I want to tell them is that there are these options as DAO, for example, where if you have an interesting project and you can build it with Sandbox, you can get a community on board, work with the founders, and find a way to do this in a much more interesting, open, transparent, and fair manner. I think this is like something that is completely missing from today's market. And there are no spaces where you can just go and read about it.
Gotcha.
And that's kind of like what we're trying to do.
Okay, that makes sense. So rationale and benefits next, and that is to explain why this SIP is necessary or beneficial to the Sandbox DAO, and what about the ecosystem does it bring value to? And for you, it said the project builds trust, increases engagement, facilitates on the narrative around the sand and the sandbox. So it helps, if
Yeah,
I could connect it to what Seb says, it helps the sandbox in its goal to be the cultural capital of the metaverse. And then for the user, it it amplifies their message in spaces where they wouldn't normally have access to or wouldn't think to engage in.
absolutely. I 100%. It's kind of like trying to engage a broader audience bring more awareness, and eventually to create kind of like unbreakable moat around Sandbox that is going to differentiate it from all the other competitors out there.
And to be clear, Kirill, you're successful already in the media industry. So you're doing this, but for other things, and now you want to apply that expertise. Hi.
Yeah, yeah. Now my daughter is famous.
That's okay. That's all right.
Yes,
I can blur
yes,
that out later on if you'd prefer.
yeah, that would be better. Thank you.
You gotcha.
Um, this is exactly right. Yeah, I mean, I've been doing my previous project for 10 years with incredible numbers, very well respected in the community. And this is just kind of like the next project I want to build uh, with the help of the community, with the help of Sandbox.
No problem. Cool. Just making a note to do the blurring later. We don't forget. All right, cool. Next one up is the rationale and benefit, which we just went. Never mind. The risk analysis. Identify any potential risks or downsides. And for you, you said risk are assessed as low. The most significant is one competition content risk, which is the potential emergence of competing platforms such as Roblox or Fortnite, offering similar or same attractive services, of which Roblox already does. They have quite a big, uh, similar to Apple Arcade in New York Times, where they have a curated thing. I don't know much about Fortnite
Yeah,
and
and
how they do their stuff.
I
Okay,
think
so
they're,
basically competition, other things crowding the space.
yeah, which is like the risk number one for any kind of business.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not really super original there.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now we zoom back out. We're done with those portions of the SIP details. We're jetting right along. And next we get into the next portion of the SIP details, which is the implementation plan, the steps or phases, and the realistic timeline for implementation with key milestones and deadlines. And there it is right there. So the first phase, you're going to actually you have a rolling list of milestones. Everything from the content management system to the user interface, team forming and training, content policy forming, okay, then publication channels, and then platform launch.
Yeah. To kind of like to make it very simple, two parts to it. First part is like the development itself. The second part is building the content and the pipeline for content production. These are like the two big pieces,
Gotcha.
and they're
Okay.
kind of like outlined here in the graphs and the explanations and so on.
No, that makes sense. All right. And then next we have resources required. We just did that. Metrics for success. Oh no, we did skip. So resources required. The first phase, 3 months to execute that is going to be 385,000 sand, or roughly $154,000. I assume that was at 33 cents on the dollar for sand, or somewhere about. During this period, the
Yeah.
project does not yield revenue. Okay. So that first platform building phase is 178 sand. And then the platform operating expenses for 3 months, that would be 206,000 sand.
hmm
Okay. Got it. Got it.
So basically, breaking down the
I like how
costs
you
and
broke it down
everything,
like
and
this. I think it makes it clear what's being paid for here.
yeah, we share this with Cyril as well and his team, and we have a very detailed breakdown of the all the things involved, and worked tirelessly with them. Went through every number for like days. So it's been a little bit of a
So you
journey.
put a lot of
But
research into that cost estimate.
yeah, but like you said, I had experience with that before, so we
Okay.
have a team and we have
Yeah.
people who can capable of doing that.
All right. Next is metrics for success. How do we know that we've made an impact? Define how the success of the
Yeah.
proposal will be measured. And for you, you put audience and viewers, active creators. So I'm assuming that means the number of viewers, the number of creators on your platform,
Yeah, yeah,
how many views
exactly,
your top
exactly,
blog
correct.
has. So they'll all have blogs, is what I'm gathering from this.
They're
How?
gonna be not really blogs, but they're gonna be like articles or publications
Oh yeah,
about
yeah.
them,
Okay, so
and
like
we're
New
just
York
gonna
Times would be
measure
said. Okay,
exactly, exactly.
got it. Okay, so that's where you can share, record the number of reactions, shares, and comments. The read percentage of a blog, very nice. I'm glad you thought of that. That's good. What an experienced media person would have, I assume. How
Yeah,
much? What is your
this is
penetration? Your
the
market penetration really look like?
yeah, yeah.
Okay,
This is
cool.
like life and blood of this kind of business. Yeah.
Yeah. And then next up, we have the voting options, which from yesterday I thought you could choose, but turns out it's all fixed at 14 days rather than where it says 7. You abided by that, so yes,
Yeah.
no, abstain, and for 14 days.
That
Okay,
part, I'm completely relying on the art management. I don't really know how it works.
gotcha. Okay, and then the last two sections of the details is the appendices, which will have contact information, alternatives, amendments, additional resources, and then a little blurb about resubmission. So for you, you put Creator First platform encompasses a collaborative portal, so there's a back end to it where people can engage. Two Sand powered monetization tools. What does two Sand mean? Oh, there will be two Sand powered monetization tool, paid subscription
Yeah.
and user support. Okay, got it. Got it. Events focused on content creation and indie game development. The second and third steps are described here. So your main goals are building an implementation of a mechanism that facilitates incentivization of valuable professional info sharing. And then you have a development of a robust sourcing mechanism that builds a flow of new and exciting projects. Okay, so these will be SIPs that you want to do after the fact. So you'll have to do a SIP for
Yeah, that's
operating.
like yeah, yeah. First you launch, and then you kind of like build the next two.
Yeah. All right. That makes sense. And then you'd also have to do a SIP, right, to continue beyond the 6 months.
Yeah.
Okay. And then he has a nice picture. Actually, let's switch this one up to so you can see, so everyone can see on the big screen. Let's take a look at your schedule or your flow chart. There, your milestone flow chart. So you have the content management, design, then you have your team, then content policy, and then you have your MVP launch. Okay. And then platform tools, DAO leads generation to so over a 2-year period, you want to do the rest of these here in the development. Is that what that
Yeah.
means?
That's the hope. Yeah.
That's the hope. Okay, so more SIPs would follow that would enable that. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, makes sense. And then we go into a larger portion, metrics for success. Oh, you copy and pasted a lot more stuff down here. Okay, so and more details for how you're going to look at success. Audience, active creators, new, unique active wallets, hot leads. What is a hot lead?
People coming to DAO, this interesting project.
Gotcha. Okay. And then down below, you have the contact information, Kirill Tokarev.
Yes.
All right. His email and his phone number. And alternative path for investment through VCs and banks are not pursued due to time constraints. Cool. And lack of centralized financial goal that solidifies alignment between the partners, right? Because everyone who's investing has their own interest for investing. And then if
Exactly.
the
Exactly. This
DAO
is like
invests, then yeah, then we know what they're in it for.
that's why this system is so beautiful. That's why I like this approach, the
Yeah.
decentralized approach.
Then there's a vision document and there's a creator first financial model. By the way, when I click that, it says I have to ask for access. So that's not publicly viewable, by the way. And looks like you've had a very interesting reaction so far. It was 13 days ago. 18 people replied. 200 people have looked at it already. 28 likes. So awesome, man. Awesome.
Awesome been
And
going on there. Yeah.
yeah,
Oh, I love it that there's like discussion and debate, and it's stimulating.
yeah,
Like at least people are not, so that's great.
yeah. So then after that, you submitted it via the sip@sandboxdao.com email. How long did the back and forth go between you and their team before it reached
Well,
the
it's been a
stage
while,
of
man. It's been a while. I think it's like a couple of months at least.
wow?
It wasn't
So
like
okay,
instantaneous.
a couple of months. Didn't we only know about the DAO like a month ago?
I've been working on that even before that, when it was still in development. Yeah.
Did you know that the DAO was
Well,
coming for you
it's
to do that, or was it just lucky?
no, it was just like I was working on it as a pitch, and then when I learned about that you could pitch it to the community, I thought, okay, I'll just adapt it to this format. That's why.
Got it. Awesome, man. And then, so your public comment closes in 2 days, so on Wednesday. And then it's on to review by the special counsel, and then it's on to vote. So, everyone, please take a look right now. Now is the best time to get your comments in because Kirill and his team can make adjustments per your per your comments, so you can see how many people, Dankoi, Von Fronten, is wow, a lot of good stuff. Banano, Metaverso. All right, shout out to Metaverso. Awesome. And then others. I haven't. I looked at the past couple days. I will also put in my response as well, and can participate just like everyone else will. Cool, man. That's awesome to see. So, Kirill, do you have any questions or anything you'd like to say before we wrap up?
No, not really. I mean, my first of all, thank you so much for inviting me. It was fun
You
to
bet.
chat. Everyone else who left comments or participated or just was expressed interest, thank you so much. For me, it's like very much an experiment, just as for you. Um, I just love engaging with the community, and I hope we can work together in the future, build something around it. But if not, it still has been a wonderful experience. I'm glad to have these conversations, and I hope to, continue them in the future.
Thank you, Kirill. And if there's anyone in the community who has any questions, please post them now. I'll wait a few seconds, or about 30 seconds, and then if we don't see anything, we will move on to closing and wrapping this up. While we're waiting, future episodes. So creators first, and actually just creator first. There's no apostrophe S. My mistake. Creator first with Kirill and his team. Did your team have a name? What's the team name?
No, no name.
No
It's the
name.
same as a company.
Kirill and his team. All right. And then tomorrow we have Community Reactions Part 2 with Crafter and Joseph. Looking forward to that one. And then after that, or before that, I'm going to be doing a deep inspection of the founding documents for the SANDDAO. So I'll be reading over all the articles of incorporation and that sort of stuff. I have a contract, negotiation, and business background, so I enjoy looking at that sort of things. And so I'll be streaming that, going over my thoughts as I read through all of it. And after that, we have a pretty big, just thing after thing after thing. I have like 17 episodes planned. And Kirill, I really appreciate your time. I am. I was really surprised now that I understand you and Cyril are two different people, and everyone else should understand they're two different people. Kirill is a very successful, well experienced media person who wants to expand his current media business to encompass amplifying the voices of the sandbox game maker, studio, creator, and artist. So AU24K, if you're watching this, when you talked yesterday or a couple of days ago about in Fan Cafe how you wanted that voice, uh, Kirill, his proposal will seek to do that, where you can submit articles and stuff like that, where you talk about your gears and just singling out AU there because I heard him talk about it the other day. Shout out to AU24K and also to the rest of the community. Thank you for your time. I'm gonna probably continue streaming after this to to work on some stuff for the Sandbox DAO.
Yeah,
But Kirill,
I'm gonna
thank
jump,
you.
guys.
Thank you,
Thank you.
man. This was great.
Have a wonderful
And
day.
everyone, hope you have a wonderful day. And we're gonna go ahead and outro.